The latest Twins losing streak is over after an 11-5, 10-inning victory Sunday against the Pirates. Let's talk about what it all means. It's time to get locked on Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Locked On Twins, your best top number one daily go-to destination for Minnesota Twins baseball discourse, analysis, and opinion, and other things. We are your hosts. I'm Dave Brown, and across from me in cyberspace is Brandon Warren.
Hey, what's up?
In addition to this show, by the way, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Answer Dave Brown, and Brandon is at Brandon_Warren with an E at the end. He says to unfollow him, but he's just joshing.
By the way, today's episode.
How was your weekend? Or you go.
Sorry, I jumped in. I'm sorry. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started.
Bringing myself into focus there for the people watching on the YouTube. So, Brandon, the Twins, the latest losing streak is over, as we said. Would have been the sixth sweep suffered by the Twins this season had they not pulled one out against the Pirates. Rocco called the game crazy and nuts. I don't know if he was just talking about this game or all games, but he said it took a lot of work. And we have a little bit of a soundbite from the post game to show you just what Rocco's state of mind is. Would you mind playing that?
Yeah, I feel like he fell back on his Rays experience with maybe the name of the stadium down there. But yeah, I'm gonna hit play here, and it's a lot of fun.
It took a lot, like, you're squeezing a lot of the juice out, and you're trying to get, every little bit that you can. You just keep squeezing and hope that more comes out at the end of the day. I don't know what I'm really saying at the moment, but.
So that's where he's at right now mentally, and it's been kind of a tough stretch. It was the Pirates were very salty dogs against the Twins. It was hard to squeeze out a victory in the series. They had Twins came into today on a 22-inning scoreless streak, and for their offense, and that ended with a bases-loaded walk in the first inning to Jose Miranda. And despite having a .500 record, the Pirates are kind of annoying.
Yep.
They're on the upswing in general, but they still are the kind of team that the Twins should beat more easily than this. Are we just happy to be done with the road trip and get out of there with a win at this point?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because what's the difference between a 0-6 stretch or a 1-5, and then how much does it matter that one came at the end of that stretch? Because I think obviously nothing good came out of the Yankees series except for the flight out, and that was a short flight to Pittsburgh that was also pretty fruitless. To kind of get some of their frustrations out on Ben Heller in that inning, and I haven't seen, was he DFA'd today? I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
I didn't notice, but yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
ERA is 40.5, I think.
His ERA is so high, you have to have a payment plan, pay in installments.
49.5.
49. Yeah, so 3 easy payments of what is that?
With a firm.
$16.50. I think what frustrated me the most about this series, and it's actually what the Twins did at the end of it, was that coming into the series, the Pirates had one of the worst bullpen ERAs in the last month. Now, they got the tougher parts of the bullpen in game one, Bednar and Chapman and the guys who in any bullpen, there's going to be at least a couple guys that you have to respect most of the time. When you lose a game 4-0 that's started by Carbon Majinski, and it's just kind of patched and pieced together, and what data-wise about this bullpen, it certainly is a lot of frustration mounting when you can't score any runs there. So for the Twins to dogpile on the end there against Heller, Old Yeller Heller, 6 earned, 7 runs total. Yeah, the numbers will show something different. It'll show that they actually probably handled their bullpen reasonably well, but that probably couldn't be further from the truth. And Also, like their run differential for the series -1. Well, hey, chalking up in the books, that's that looks a lot better than going 1 for 3 in wins.
So you brought up a good point about, what's the difference between going 0-6 versus 1-5, and I think you're alluding to, well, what comes next, because
Yeah.
the Twins are gonna, and we'll talk a little bit more about it later, but they're going to be in position to play a couple of weaker teams at home. So, and when they've done that before, when they've come off a rough stretch and got some rough teams at home, they made hay. So I don't know if you've made hay before, but it's time for the Twins to do that in their next series at home, and then in their next homestand with the Rockies coming in, and then I had it here,
A's.
Yeah, and then the A's, and then the Rays. So lots of rhyming going on.
Well, and so the Rockies too, like the road Rockies offense it's always got that Coors hangover effect. So even if they have a really good offense at Coors, they're always good for like an 80 or 85 weighted runs created plus on the road. So getting them on the road is always hugely beneficial. And so hopefully, the Twins take advantage of it.
It would seem if the season is going to go how it's gone so far, Aaron Gleeman had a breakdown of the different parts of the season. In the first 20 games, the Twins went 7-13. Mm-hmm. Then they, including the 12-game winning streak, went 17-3 in the next 20 games. Then they had 7 losses in a row. Then they won 9 out of 12. And then they had 5 losses in a row coming into today. So it would seem like I don't know if we're headed for another 12-game winning streak. That would be nice. But something like a 17-3 would get them going again.
Well, it's again, though, like you never actually resemble what your numbers say you are in the aggregate. Yeah. That's something that I've banged that drum. I don't know what I'm saying. I've definitely talked about that in a lot of different forms and fashions. You hit 300 for 1 week and 100 for 1 week, and your batting average says you're a 200 hitter, but you've never actually resembled a 200 hitter.
Yeah.
I think that might be kind of the way to feel about the Twins, because it's equal parts it's so over and comma we're so back, like just based on whatever day it is and how they're playing on that given day.
The most frustrating part, at least for Sunday, I mean the game they won for me, was Bailey Ober. He continues to struggle overall since that dominating performance against the Jays back in May. He's got 20 earned runs in his past 23 and 2/3 innings. Pitchers will struggle. Today was frustrating because the Twins actually, not only did they break the 22-inning scoreless streak, they had a 3-0 lead. And, we've said a lot of times how even the Twins pitchers who are having good seasons have had trouble keeping the other team off the board first in games. At least it seems like it sometimes. So that was frustrating for me. And now Ober's ERA in June is 6.52. I mean, his enigmatic ebbs and flows kind of reflect the team overall. I mean, he's his first appearance of the year, remember, against the Royals, I think it was 8 earned runs and not even 2 innings. And then the rest of April, he had a 1.48 ERA in 4 starts. So lots of consistency ever since. Overall, StatCast expected ERA 4.03, so that's lower than what he's producing. And if you look at his numbers, he's in the red on chase percentage and walk percentage. So he's still got a lot of things going for him. It's just I think we're just going to have to ride the ups and downs of Bailey Ober.
Yeah, as of the end of this start, a 5.13 ERA, 4.28 FIP, 4.10 xFIP. But has he ever resembled an average pitcher this year? He's either been all the way on or quite shaky all the way off. A couple interesting things from this start. So no home runs allowed, gets his home run rate down to 1.49 per 9. And then he induced grounders in a way that like he never, ever does. His ground ball rate today, and again, I know single game ground ball rate doesn't mean much, but 64.3% for a guy who usually hovers in the upper 20s, lower 30s. So it's, I don't know. And his ERA today, 7.71, but a 2.28 FIP. No, I'm kidding. I'm definitely not going to that. But to not get through 5, and especially in a day where, you're facing, like, didn't we talk about Paul Skeens and Jones are the ones you got to kind of worry about in this rotation. And,
right.
They handled Jones obviously much better than they probably would have handled Skeens, the way that things have been going lately for both sides. But it's frustrating when you feel like your offense is breaking through and they're scoring runs in kind of unconventional, ugly ways, like bad umpiring for one, bases loaded walks for another. Like, when you have some of that mojo in your favor, to not be able to capitalize on that as a starting pitcher has to be just immensely frustrating.
Before we break, I just wanted to get in a note about Manuel Margot. He probably had the biggest hit of the game, the triple of the 10th inning that not only put the Manfred man on second, scored him, but got Margot into scoring position for the big inning. And they ended up scoring 7 times in that inning. Margot came in 9 for 59 against right-handed pitching with 1 double all season. That was his extra base hit. That's a 153, 219, 170 slash line. So, I mean, that's not good. That's really bad, but he certainly was due. So,
I haven't seen 170 since about 7th grade. So yeah, it's not.
Hey-o.
Hey-o.
Yeah. So let's do a break and then we'll talk more things.
Hey, that sounds good. We'll be right back. SupplyHouse wants you to get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, and it's SupplyHouse.com. It's the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online, and their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every single time. Pros in the skilled trades, easy for me to say, can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. And we also have to give some love to FanDuel. I hope I didn't trip you up there, Dave, by jumping all over you here.
I was no, you're doing great, Brandon. You go ahead.
Summertime is baseball, NBA Finals, and much, much more. A little Stanley Cup going on besides. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Again, that's on FanDuel, FanDuel.com. And it's $200 you can use to bet everything from the Finals MVP to who's going to win one who's going to hit one out of the park. Easy for me to say, who's going to hit one out of the park. Or, hockey. If you like to do that as well, let's have that hockey. Or what did the guy on Saturday Night Live say? It was a Chance the Rapper. He's like, let's do that hockey. I can't remember what it was, but you can definitely
it was something like that. Yes,
on FanDuel. Well, because Brady Shea was on the screen and he goes, Brady, nope. That's an S, a K, and a J. Nope. But anyway, visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and add a big win to your summer bucket list. Let's pull a couple of odds here for your Twins as they welcome the Rockies to town starting on Monday. Okay. It's spread -1.5 in favor of your Twins. Moneyline -22 or 225. And then the over-under is 8.5. So some interesting ones as Chris Paddock and Daniel Hudson. That's not correct. It's Dakota Hudson. Will go toe-to-toe at Target Field. You can also get that on SiriusXM at the XXM app. Just search Twins, and you can hear Chris and whoever is joining him. I think it'll be Danny again because they're back at home. But again, visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and add a big win to your summer bucket list. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book.
So it's a big day.
Yeah.
The Rockies are in town. That's not why it's a big day, though. The City Connects are dropping. And I made an admission earlier on Twitter Sunday that not today, but up until the recent publicity for the City Connects, I was under the impression that the City Connects already had been dropped and that the Twin Cities uniforms, which are kind of cool, those were the City Connect uniforms, but apparently they're not.
No,
there's going to be something additional coming. You had a leak. I was wondering where the leaks were, and you had a leak today.
Yeah.
Of what you were saying the City Connects were, and it looked an awful like the Back to the Future uniforms that they wore 25 years ago. But I don't think that's them. A giant Minnie and Paul with the atom going around.
Suspiciously look like those because that's exactly where I got it from when they played the Mariners at the Metrodome. And Butch Husky ran into the fence, and there's a whole big video of it. And I had forgotten that actually Butch Husky had he was on the Mariners at the time, not the Twins. So it's I don't know if it's
Well,
more
you're not his biographer. It's okay.
I don't know if it's more funny or less funny that he ran headlong into the wall. I believe it was after he played for the Twins, so he had played that left field before. But nevertheless, may he rest in pieces. The Mariners
City
ones
connects. The city connects.
The Mariners ones for that day looked a lot better. But anyway, City Connects. I did actually see what I believe to be what they'll look like. And
what do you mean?
Well, somebody sent me something. I don't know if it's legit, but it's cool. It's unique. So I'll just say that much. It's
You're not allowed to say more? Is that the vibe I'm getting?
I would be betraying someone's trust if I did. So I will say they're unique. And
let me ask this. Are they made entirely of fish hooks? Because I think that would be a really good City Connect jersey idea.
Yeah, ironically enough, it's actually this Ron Gardenhire Rapala fish hook is the inspiration for it. So
the Dan Rapala of the Red Sox?
Yeah, right. This was actually as I've stated, I'm going through some of my brother's things, and he had like 4 of these lures. I don't even know how old these things are. They're probably 15, 20 years old, and it's just hysterical to see these things.
You could have like a Twins fan Hall of Fame sort of with your items. With your
as my office cleans out, you'll see more. Like you can see some autographed baseballs here that he had, and a bunch of stuff in the background. It'll look a lot nicer once I get everything put away. But for now, it's a disaster.
I can't tell if most people like when a team has the City Connects, if they like them or they don't, because the opinions tend to be strong. It seems like there's a lot of complaining, but maybe that's just because I hang out on Twitter. If you look around the AL Central, kind of been hit or miss. The White Sox, good. Now, when the Guardians displayed them, not in the natural light, not on a person, I didn't like them. But when they played in them, I kind of did like them. I thought they were better once you got them on the field.
Oh, yeah, the ones that were sponsored by Fila. They look like that old I don't even know if that brand exists anymore.
I like the Royals fountain uniforms. The Tigers kind of meh with their Detroit Rock City or whatever they have. I didn't really care for them. So I don't know. Do you think people will like these?
Does it make the Twins the tiebreaker for the division if they win the City Connect battle?
No, because
the only ones you really didn't like are
Detroit's, yeah. At least for me, yeah.
In general, I think people will think they're pretty cool, but I also think there will be plenty of complaining because I don't know. I mean, I feel like the only really uni that has been released by the Twins in recent history that they all universally liked was the Twin Cities Creams, which those are an instant classic. Like if you wanted to create something that had a feeling of both it just came out, but also it's existed for a long time, I think that was the perfect mix. If you're going to go back to the baby blues, you could do that. But to me, that was the perfect mix. Everything else has been controversial, whether it was the Twins with the Casota Gold when, towards the end of Joe Mauer's career, they had those. And, whether they vacillate between the TC hats or the M hats, there's never a shortage of opinions. I think people will be initially cold on them, but will warm up to them similar to how you did with the Guardians.
Well, there you go. I think the Twin Cities, if they would tweak them a little bit and add some things, maybe some fish hooks or rivers or lakes or whatever, secret codes that people put into the City Connects, I think they're 3/4 of the way on the way to great City Connect uniforms as they are. I don't know why they made those and they weren't the City Connects in the first place whenever they started to wear the Twin Cities uniforms.
It would have been the year that Luis Ariz was traded. So before last year, because he was in their Mall of America unveiling. and then was traded just a few weeks later.
Well, I think they had a really good idea for
no question.
City Connects with those. So, so we'll see what they look like. The Twins are having, not to like go full on PR, but the Twins are having a bunch of celebration type deals on Monday for the uniform unveiling, and they're going to wear them Friday and Saturday this week on the homestand. So they're going to have an unveiling tomorrow, and then like at Target Plaza, they're going to have art displays, and the New Era team store is going to open at like 9 a.m. for ticket holders and season ticket holders, and then at 10 o'clock the general public can come in and they can buy. TC is going to have like photo opportunities on the plaza from 10 to noon. There's going to be live music, a free lunch, all that stuff. So lots of fun stuff related to.
So what time are you expecting to see these for the first time?
Well, if I remember, because I've got kids. Well, the kids aren't going to school anymore, so I won't have things in the morning. But I think 9 a.m. because that's when the team store opens. So I think around 9 a.m. is when, and don't hold me to that, but that's what I expect. Twins.com or Twins Twitter to unveil the uniforms for the first time. I think that's where we'll see them.
Right on.
So, but it's time for another break, Brandon. So why don't you take that for us?
All right. We'll finish up here with our last break, and then you'll carry us home, and I'll do my best to keep up. Are you struggling to close Are you struggling to close deals because B2B selling is tougher than ever? That's why you need to know about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I'm here to tell you about it. It's a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-value customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers who are most likely to convert. By the way, it is fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform. So Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with people who matter. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial. It's basically 2 months at linkedin.com/lockedon. That's linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon to get started.
So, I pay attention to Twins Twitter and fans and bloggers and so forth. And I think Nick Nelson asked rhetorically or offered the opinion that he thinks he wouldn't be surprised if Matt Wallner was brought up and they replaced Alex Kirilloff with him. Now, Kirilloff has been in a horrendous slump for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
His StatCast numbers, he's still red and he's still hitting the ball pretty hard. So there's maybe a little bit of bad luck, but there isn't much production going on from him. Wallner, in his last 8 games, I looked it up, 290, 371, 742 slugging with 4 homers in his last 8 games, 11 Ks and 31 at bats. Overall, he's hitting 208, 300, 457 with 11 homers and 68 K and 173 at bats. I don't know that he's been doing well enough for long enough to make that switch. I could see maybe Kirilloff going down, but maybe Austin Martin coming up instead of Matt Wallner.
The only issue is that Martin was sidelined for a little bit by he jammed his shoulder on a catch, but he's supposed to be back. I think I saw Theodore Tollefson, who does our postcast sometimes, says Wednesday at the latest. But there certainly is worth wondering if Kirilloff has 1 foot out the door or not. With that said, it won't be all about stats with Wallner coming back, and the fact that his slugging percentage has gotten that high is kind of remarkable with how much we've talked about his struggles since getting sent back out. And the thing that helps too, and maybe this isn't exactly a point that'll resonate, but having Jose Miranda, who is capable of playing first base, means that Kirilloff is a little less necessary if you were to bring up Matt Wallner to play, left field, DH, whatever. And, having games where Miranda DHs and Santana plays first base, because I think he's far and away their best defensive first baseman. It's not remotely close. That will make for some room for mix and matching, or maybe just having Wallner kind of be like your Kenny Vargas thunder off the bench when you need a big swing, and just see what happens. If you're trailing late and it's Kyle Farmer's spot coming up against a closer, you may as well go to the Thunder guy and see if he can keep you in the game or get you back into the game or whatever. So I'm not saying I think it's likely, but I also think stats-wise, he's made it to the big leagues, and if they think his process is good enough to this point, they may overlook that he's really only been successful for about a week. I don't know. 33% or whatever it was strikeout rate for that span is par for the course for him, but at AAA, that's still pretty high. You know what I mean? If he was in the big leagues, that'd be one thing. But I don't know. I'm not as fervent as most people were saying him or Michael Hellman, who would need to be added to the 40-man roster. I don't know that the Twins are looking to make a move like that right now.
I would say the good news with Wallner is it's obvious that he finally he touched bottom at some point and has kind of found his way back.
Yep.
On that note, Edouard Julien, 24 at bats so far, 8 strikeouts. He's hitting 125, 192, and 250 with St. Paul. So he is still he's still looking for trying to touch bottom.
He hit a homer and then has been pretty quiet since. They did have, I saw a highlight of a really nice defensive play he made at first base. And what was funny about it was he made a pick, or I think it was a backhanded scoop at first base. Right. The helmet came off the runner and rolled in that line of view, and he still managed to make that scoop with that helmet rolling that way. Kind of like when your tire rolls ahead of you and you're on the highway. It was that kind of deal.
Continuing to look at some possible reinforcements down there. David Festa's got a 3.56 ERA with 71 Ks, 24 walks, 6 homers allowed in 48 innings. I feel like his walk rate is still too high. I mean, he's only gone at least 5 innings in 4 of his 12 starts. So he's a little bit wild, and he's not, it wouldn't be, maybe the best version of himself to bring him up right now.
He's in the slow cooker right now. He's not ready. He looks ready. It's like when you're watching a really good pulled pork and it looks ready, but it's not. And it's going to be, they're going to push back Pablo on Tuesday to Wednesday. I think it's going to be Caleb Bosley who comes up. That's kind of, roster resource has him already penciled in. And so that might be a quasi bullpen game where he and, Cole Sands or somebody tag team and try to get you through the 6th and then see where you stand after that.
And one other guy I was taking a note of who's got major league experience, the other Diego Castillo, hitting 293, 401, 421 with 6 steals, mostly at third and short. Yeah. But he also has experience at second base. Just thinking ahead, if Farmer continues to struggle, a right-handed bat, that could be a guy that could come up and maybe help them as a bench guy.
Does Tony Kemp do anything for you?
He's all right. He's hitting 250, 346, 405.
Pretty good vibes guy, isn't he?
He's a good vibes guy too. But I don't know. I think they need hits. And
yeah. I just mean,
you know what I mean. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's the right kind of hitter for what they need.
Right.
He might be a little more of the same of what they have on the roster, and maybe that hasn't been contributing. So
yeah, maybe
Castillo gets a shot. But one other guy who's not coming up, I don't think, Zebby Matthews, but he's got a 1.21 ERA in his first 5 starts for Wichita.
So good.
Maybe with Festa in the slow cooker, maybe they're microwaving Zebby Matthews a little bit. I don't know, but I can't imagine that we'll see him soon. But because I'm not sure how his stats or his stuff would translate right now to the majors. But
Zebby, I believe, jumped into the Baseball America top 100 that just came out.
I thought that was Festa, or was it Zebby?
I thought it was Zebby. I thought Festa was already up there. But either way, Zebby is knocking on that, and Festa in some places is pretty highly ranked. So again, that pitching pipeline that people kind of like to poke fun at, which first of all created Bailey Ober, who none of us expected to be this good, or good enough to be in the big leagues this long. They're churning out guys. Cade Povich made his major league debut the other day for the Orioles. They're churning out big league starters. They're just cashing them in sometimes in trades And then in other times, guys will be coming up here at some point, whether it's Zebi or Festa, who, again, both of those guys were not as high up in the prospect list before. Like, these guys are helium guys.
Right. You mentioned Pablo Lopez getting pushed back a day. There's nothing that you can see necessarily in his numbers, in his StatCast numbers, that is obvious reason for this. Maybe it's a mental thing. I don't know. What do you think they're going for here with Lopez getting one more day between starts?
Just a reset. I think, maybe, I don't know what that will change about his between starts preparation, whether it's an extra throwing day or an extra day off. And if it'll be a day of, film study where it's, hey, what's your sweeper doing in terms of shape or in terms of velocity that you want to change, vice versa. I trust that Pete Mackey has a very specific plan. Me trying to deduce it, so far, no good.
Well, I thought here I was talking to former Major League pitcher Brandon Warren. I guess it must be somebody else.
Only in my dreams.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Locked On Twins. Brandon Warren, Dave Brown. We're going to talk some more Twins down the road. We hope you enjoyed this show. We're going to do more this week, and then we're going to see you, and we're going to cuss you
tomorrow night.